Yo, what's up, guys? It's the MMA Analyst here to give you my predictions for UFC 148. Quick little mention about BetMMA Radio. See, my whole purpose of BetMMA Radio was to try and get interviews with other folks, a co-host, and all of that stuff. Not for me to talk into a mic by myself for an hour and a half. Now, some of y'all might like the idea of that, but I really can't get behind that idea. I need, for BetMMA Radio to exist, I need a co-host, and I need to be able to get interviews. So, I'm going to work on those things, and when I have those things on lock, BetMMA Radio will be back. Until then, I'll have to try and make some topic videos and just cover that kind of stuff like Fedor's retirement in some kind of video. And I'm kind of late on a few of those. But anyways, so there you go. Just, some bad news for some folks out there. What else? If you're looking to bet on MMA, contact me. I'll give you a link for a sports interaction. If you're a Canadian or anybody who isn't American, they actually have some pretty good odds now. They have some opened up options. You can bet on fight of the night, all that good stuff. You can bet on the method, victory. So pretty good prop bets, as well as parlays, as well as straight odds. All right, so there you go. With that out of the way, let's get down to the most important fight in mixed martial arts for your boy, the MMA Analyst. Because if Anderson Silva loses, okay, now I'm not going to do anything too crazy if he loses. I can't confirm or deny. I can't really confirm that. If he does lose, I might do something crazy. But I need him to not lose. So, let's talk about it. Anderson Silva's a beast, and nobody really has a chance of beating him except for Chael Sonnen. We saw in the first fight, Chael Sonnen was nasty. He was able to do what nobody else was able to do, which is not beat up Anderson Silva, because nobody else has been able to do that. Not, almost beat Anderson Silva, because yes, again, in the UFC and for a long time, nobody's been able to do that. But that's not even the important stuff. The important part of why Anderson Silva was in all that trouble was because Chael Sonnen actually backed up the trash talk and was able to pressure Anderson Silva. I'm going to lower this a little bit. Not too much, guys. Come on now. Put that in the hole. All right. He was able to pressure Anderson Silva. He didn't let Anderson Silva come out there and start dancing with the stars and get ready and start doing all this stuff and then just start whooping on his ass. And there's a possibility, maybe, that Chael Sonnen was 16-1 TRT, testosterone, crazy stuff, which is like 4 times higher than the average man. And Anderson Silva could have had a broken rib. Those things don't really matter because, you almost lost, you almost won. If Chael would have won the title, it would have been stripped from him anyways, I think. Yeah. But anyways, Chael Sonnen, that's not the reason he was able to move in. That's not the reason why he was able to get close and actually catch Anderson with a shot that he didn't see coming. Anderson's not going to get knocked out. He's got one of the best chins in MMA. And that's because not only does he have a solid chin, a good jaw, all that stuff, but he sees the punches coming. Chael Sonnen caught him with the punch that he didn't see coming, which shocked him, dropped him. Then Anderson stood up, put his hands down, and said, "Hit me with what you got." And he saw every punch coming and just slightly turned his head so that he didn't get the full impact of the Chael Sonnen punch. But anyways, the reason Chael Sonnen was able to be so successful was because he was aggressive and did not give Anderson Silva the time to get comfortable. This time, I don't think that's going to matter. I think Anderson might have actually been surprised. He might have been injured. You got to remember. Also, he came out in a gi. Now, Anderson never came out in a gi. For those who don't know, a gi is like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, pajamas. Anyway, so he came out in the gi with the Nogueira patch and all that stuff because Chael Sonnen was ripping on Nogueira Jiu-Jitsu. And Anderson Silva came out in Nogueira Jiu-Jitsu gi patched up, all that good stuff, and spent most of the fight on his back. Purposefully? Probably not, but he did. And then he submitted with that cheesy-ass, corny jiu-jitsu that Chael Sonnen was talking about. That's done now. Anderson Silva talking a lot of, I'm going to beat him up, I'm going to break him down, I'm going to do all this. I don't know how much of it is hype, and I don't know how much of it is actually him being angry. It's probably a little bit of both. But I hope he is angry enough to actually put a serious whooping on him, and not angry enough to do something stupid. I don't really like stuffing takedowns with jumping knees and stuff like that, because you most of the time just get taken down. So he's going to have to make sure he doesn't spend the whole fight on his back again. I see some people picking like later finishes for Anderson Silva. I don't see a possible way for this fight to go past round 2 unless Chael Sonnen is being successful again. And if Chael Sonnen is successful again, then I'm going to be real scared. So either this fight gets finished in the first 2 rounds, which basically means Chael Sonnen is aggressive and unsuccessful, or the fight goes past the first 2 rounds, which means Chael Sonnen is aggressive and not successful, or is successful. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I forgot what I was saying mid-sentence because I was thinking about the next line, which is because if Chael Sonnen isn't successful with his aggression, he's going to get knocked out. If he is not aggressive, he's going to get knocked out. Anderson's not going to dance around while Chael Sonnen, whose striking is nothing for Anderson to worry about, they're not going to, trade jabs and crosses. Chael Sonnen has to move in. He has to get in close, close the gap, get tight, push him up against the cage, drag him down. If he's not doing that, well, he's getting knocked out. And Anderson won't even get hit. If he is doing that and he's not successful, he's going to get knocked out. So there's no way this fight goes past, I can't see how it goes past 10 minutes if Chael Sonnen is unsuccessful or not aggressive. If he is successful with his aggression, then we got to just hope that his jiu-jitsu is just as bad as it always was. And it is, because he doesn't train it the way he needs to. So there you go. I'm going to go with Anderson Silva, first round, knockout. Because I think Chael Sonnen will be aggressive, and I don't think he will be successful. Next fight, Forrest Griffin versus Tito Ortiz. Both these guys are going to retire within the next 12 months. One of these guys is going to retire within the next 7 days. Tito Ortiz is probably going to be that guy, having 1 win in the last 6 years. He's fought tough guys the whole time, and he's gone to a decision with some of these very tough guys. But at the end of the day, his only win has been over Ryan Bader. In 2011, though he only had 1 win out of his 3 attempts, he was definitely I can't say definitely probably, but I would say he was the highest paid fighter in the UFC because he was getting paid. He got paid solid money to fight Ryan Bader July 2nd, and then somebody got hurt. He stepped in and replaced him against Rashad Evans like a month later, and got paid again. And I know the UFC was happy for that, and then fought again Antonio Hajiro Nogueira in December. And so Tito's one of the more highly paid guys in the UFC, so he probably got paid really well in 2011. And yeah, I see this being his one and only fight in 2012. Forrest Griffin, I don't see him getting taken down, which is the way Tito would have to win this fight. Taking him down, keeping him down. As much as they always say underrated ground game and all that stuff, Forrest is one of those guys that actually does have an underrated ground game. Obviously underrated against people who aren't amazing grapplers. So, and by grapplers, I mean jiu-jitsu, you're just going to take him down. Tito, old, slower, not as strong, not as anything. Forrest Griffin should be able to get this win, probably by decision. He really doesn't knock anybody out. He's just very sloppy striking, not much power. So I see him, Tito getting tired from attempted takedowns and Forrest winning a 30-27 decision. Probably not going to be the best fight either, but whatever. Tito Ortiz will retire and should get into the UFC Hall of Fame, which really doesn't mean anything anyways. The UFC Hall of Fame is actually one big joke. So if you're in the UFC Hall of Fame, congratulations. If you're not in the UFC Hall of Fame, who cares? It's a joke. All right. It's kind of like just whatever. Kung Lee versus Patrick Cote. Kung Lee is not going to win this fight. I mean, a lot of people don't know about Kung Lee or they don't really pay attention. This dude is old as hell. I mean, Patrick Cote's had tons of fights, a lot of wars, many losses, but Kung Lee is old. He's 40 years old. He has serious gas issues with it. No, not people. Come on, grow up. Cardio issues. And I have a feeling that, he's going to get tagged anyways and just get knocked out by Patrick Cote, who has a, very good jaw. Like, he can take a punch. Kung Lee's got flashy, spinny type kicks and punches. Patrick Cote will just, I don't think he's going to get caught with any of that. Even if he does, I don't think he's getting knocked out. And I see Kung Lee getting knocked out. Pretty much, that's it. Patrick Cote's coming off of, the last time he was in the UFC, he lost 3 in a row. Then he's left the UFC. He's on a 4-fight win streak in mostly Canada, last one in Brazil. And then now he's back to the UFC, and he will likely knock out Kung Lee in round 1 or 2. And it will be just an absolute beatdown. Dong Hyun Kim versus Damian Maia. So, Damian, man, you pretty much been messing up because you forgot who you are. Or Nate Marquardt knocked it out of you. Either way, ever since your first loss, which was a 21-second knockout to Nate Marquardt, you have never been the guy before that. Maybe it's because you weren't fighting the best fighters in the world. Maybe just because you changed, because you did submit Chael Sonnen in the first round within the beautiful submission of the night. It was the fourth of your UFC career out of 5 fights. Anyways, since then you went and tried to strike with Dan Miller for 3 rounds. That was boring as hell. You laid around on your back and flopped against Anderson Silva. I would do the same thing. Mario Miranda, nothing special there. A whack-ass decision, a weak decision against Kendall Grove. You tried striking against Mark Munoz. Maybe you should work on your takedowns then. If you're afraid that you can't get the takedowns, then maybe you should do that. Because you need to get these damn fights to the ground so you can beat Damian Maia again. Because I'm tired. I want Damian Maia to retire from the UFC so I can at least see him do some jiu-jitsu somewhere. Or just go to Abu Dhabi or the Mundials. I'm tired of seeing Damian Maia's striking. I don't want to see any striking from Damian Maia. Alright, well, here's the problem. Dong Hyun Kim, he's got better striking. He's got good judo. And you're probably not going to be able to take him down. So, pull guard. I'm tired of you striking. Stop throwing punches. If you're going to throw a punch, use it to set up a takedown. Or clinch. Or something. Let Dong Hyun Kim take you down. Whatever, man. Just stop. Man, it's so frustrating watching guys like Damian Maia completely just go away from, just divert from what they're good at. And, even though he still is 3-2 in his last 5 fights, oh, man, stop. Stop it. All right? Start submitting people again. Or at least let me see you try. At least let me see you act like you want to get the fight to the ground so you can submit people. And use your world-class jiu-jitsu. I'm tired of hearing world-class jiu-jitsu from people who don't have it. And you do have it, and you're not using it. This is a fan of Damian Maia's frustration coming out. That's all it is, folks. Dong Hyun Kim probably is not going to let this fight go to the ground because Damian Maia's wrestling is not good enough. And Damian Maia is going to try and strike with Dong Hyun Kim. It's his first time at welterweight. Dong Hyun Kim is a big welterweight. Damian Maia, maybe he'll be able to use his potential size advantage over Kim and get the fight to the ground. I hope that's what happens. And I hope we get to see a nice little grappling war. But it's probably going to be more or less striking the entire time. Damian Maia trying to get the fight down with clinches, and Dong Hyun Kim not letting it happen. And winning a decision. So there you go. Chad Mendes versus Cody McKenzie. What? He just fought for the title. That's how messed up this division is. You go from fighting Jose Aldo, the best in the world, to Cody McKenzie, the guy that's got one move. Anyways, Chad Mendes is probably not going to lose this. I don't think he's going to get submitted. If he does lose, it will be from a McKenzie team because that's all Cody McKenzie has. I mean, even when he loses, it's just submission. Like, he loses by submission, he wins by submission. I mean, Chad Mendes is, top 5 or whatever you want to call it in the world. Cody McKenzie is top 30. So 40, maybe. And Chad Mendes is a really good, well-rounded fighter. So I don't see him losing this fight. He's better literally everywhere. And Cody McKenzie has one move that he is really good at. The last guy fought, Marcus Levisser, literally got a takedown and then just left his head there and just was like, like didn't do anything. And then McKenzie was like, well, okay, I'm just going to put my arm here. I'm going to put this here, clasp it up. Push up, submit. You were good? We're done? All right, cool. So Chad Mendes is not going to allow that to happen. And I have Mendes probably getting a decision win, to be honest. Just because he's going to play it safe. And then rest of the fights. I've got Mike Easton over Menjivar. Gleason Tibau over Khabib. I've got Melvin Gillard over Camoes. Philippou over Fukuda. Shane Roller over Alessio. And I'm going to go with Oliveira over Escudero or Izquierdo. There you go. Those are my picks. Good luck. MMA, it's important. Peace.